Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today on another junk journaling video. So I'm still doing my Edith Holden journal, and I created a masterboard with some scraps from the Edith Holden, and from the A4 sheet I have made two nice big journaling cards, two big tags, two little tags, and then I did three covered or altered paper clips. So these were for part of the challenge over on Junk Journaling for Everyone. We had to, for week 11 I think it was, do three altered paper clips and three altered playing cards. I haven't done the cards yet, but this was for the challenge, for that part of the challenge, and I needed some more tags and journaling cards. So stay tuned and I'll show you how I made them. So I've created this masterboard. I've just stuck it down onto some of my tea stained cream paper that I had, and so it's literally all the scraps that I've been saving in this Polly Pocket. I used my ruler, just a straight edge metal ruler, and sort of made as straight edges as possible. Some of them were quite little, so I didn't manage it. And then just stuck them down. I had a few bits that had colour in, so I thought I'd randomly place those around. I've done them in different orientations, and I've used some which were larger letters, or script, and some with smaller script, just to give it a different look. And so I've created this masterboard. I didn't see the point of showing you. It's just ripping and sticking, really, isn't it? So I thought now I'd bring you along to show you sort of the next stage that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some inking first. So I've got my soft suede. I like soft suede. It is a really good match for the colour of the script. I'm gonna use my blending brush, and I thought I'd just go over it a bit and sort of pick up some of the edges. So I didn't ink. I did start there, but I just thought that's going to take forever, so I didn't ink the edges. I just thought this would be quicker to go over with a brush afterwards, and that would pick up some of these edges quite nicely, and also take away some of the brightness of this paper. I find it a little bit bright for my journal, which is a bit darker. So this, I thought, would blend it all together quite nicely, because although it's all from the same book, some of the pages were looking a little bit lighter than the others. So I'm liking the look of that already. There are a few gaps, but I didn't think that they mattered. I thought we'd get away with that quite nicely. So that's that. I quite like the look of that. And I do have some paper napkins, so I thought I might cover this with some of my paper napkins. So I bought these. They're the Country Diver and Edwardian Lady. There's 18 in the pack. The 2-ply, and I got them from Amazon. They're just the one pattern. I only pack I saw, but I thought they do. So you've got one design and it's repeated 4 times. Like so. I don't really want the edge in. I'm just looking at this bit in the middle. So I'm going to get it up. So I'm going to get a bit of sellotape. Oh. Put that on the corner. It is 2-ply, so I only need to take back off. Oh, it should, yeah. Let me peel it. Peel it all off. Let me double check that although it says 2-ply, I think it is. Yeah. So I keep these for other things. Use them as a tissue sometimes when I haven't got any on my desk. And then also I use them to stamp on and things. So I thought it might be quite nice to stick that over. So I want to take off the background. So I've got a little water painter. I quite like, got a little edge over here. So I'll get that off. So I'm actually thinking I want to get rid of this purple altogether. Thinking I might put that up there. What I usually do when I'm faced with a piece of A4 is I cut 2 inches that way and get 2 tags, and then I cut this into 4, so I get 6 tags altogether, which is what I think I'm going to go for. So I'll get the rest of these out. So that's the napkins ready, and I've got my, this is watered down clear PVA, which I've added some stain to. I think that's Vintage Photo re-inker, just gives it a little bit of extra colour. This is a little silicone brush, and what I like about it is any glue on it just peels off. So this I was gluing before I went away for the bank holiday weekend, so it's just been left to dry and it will just peel off, ready to use again. Thought it was genius. Watched somebody use it and thought I'm going to get some of them. They're hairdressers. I think they use them to apply colour to the hair, and yeah, great for glue. So that's what I'm using. So I'm just gonna spread this underneath where I'm going to put the napkin, so it spreads the glue nicely. can see that colour adds. And then gently over the top. And now you can see the writing is coming through, and you've got these Edith Holden images from the napkin. Love it. So I'm going to put this one on in exactly the same way. And then this will add some extra strength. So I've just used ordinary copier paper that was cream. So I've then covered it in a glue stick, and then I've used collard glue to glue the scraps down. So that's 2 layers of glue, adding strength, and now using the PVA. So all these will add strength to the tag. So I don't think it's necessary to do it onto cardstock, because the paper, the book pages, are actually quite thick themselves. And I will probably add some other decoration. Do like to add me doilies, and I have recently made some clusters, so like so. Just happen to have one, so these will probably go on there in some way. Well, I'm not 100% certain, because I have added these images, so I may not. Just have to see how I feel when I cut them up. And looking at the size of these, I might actually do these as journaling cards as opposed to tags, because that's lending itself quite nicely to that. So whereas if I do that with this, I could put a cluster on top of that and we'd still see it. So I'm not 100% sure of where I'm going with it, so there. So that's that all stuck down. So I think I'm going to cut across there and then cut that in half. I have 2 there, 2 tags and 3 journaling cards. So I'm just going to leave those to dry. And it's quite late now, so I think we're going to go to bed, and I'll pick this up again in the morning when it's dry. Okay. So I think I said in the video that I was going to leave it to dry and get on with it the next day. Well, this is now like 2 weeks later. I've been on holiday, and now I've come back to it. So it's well and truly dry. I did put it under some books yesterday, so I got back and I thought, oh, it's a little bit. It was not as flat as it is now. It could probably do with being under a book for a bit longer, because watered down PVA can sometimes cause a bit of warping because of the water in it. It's a water-based glue, and then you're adding water to it if you're watering it down like I did. But I really like how that has turned out. So since I made this masterboard, there was another challenge that was set on a little junk journaling for everyone, which was to make some altered paper clips and some altered playing cards. Whilst I was on holiday, I did a bit of crafting, and I made these altered paper clips, and I did do a little bit of collaging on a piece of coffee dyed paper. It needs a little bit of sticking down there, and I thought, oh, I only have to do 3 for the challenge, that in this section I could maybe use that for my altered paper clips. So these are, I didn't take any of my Edith Holden stuff with me. I just used a bit of, this is a bit of Tracy Fox Digitals with a bit of Stampin' Up. I didn't take a sewing machine on holiday with me. This is a stamp set, but it really does look really effective as stitching. And I'm first time using that stamp set, and I'm really, really pleased with how it turned out. If I bring that up a bit closer, you see the stitching on it, and it's from a Stampin' Up stamp set called Stitchery, and there was lots of choices. I went with that one because I felt that looks a little bit like my sewing, but there are fancy stitches, and so this was one of the main reasons for getting this set, because not everybody's got a sewing machine, or sometimes I haven't got time. It does take a little bit of extra time to sew, and I thought it's a good way of adding stitching that looks realistic without a sewing machine, and it's much quicker. So yeah, lovely set. Quite pleased with how that's turned out. So this was just the paper clip is sandwiched between a bit of tea dyed paper and the collage sheet, which was done exactly like this, and then just decorated on top. So I'm going to do that. The challenge is now finished. So this was the penultimate challenge to do the altered paper clips and playing cards, and then the last challenge was the making of the book, and the cover rather of the book. So so yeah, I haven't done either of those. There was a winner picked for sort of different people that have sort of finished it sort of quite quickly. I'm going to do this slightly more than 2 inches because I'm not doing a tag out of them, because I want to get these butterflies in. I thought that would be quite nice on the paper clip. Does not look straight at all. There. That now looks straight, Jess. I should have perhaps tried to cut this on the back because it's uneven. The blade's not really liking it. Maybe a guillotine would have been better for cutting this up. Oh no, done it now. There, that's okay. It's turned out okay. I really need to clean this track. So that's that. So I need 3 of these. I'm thinking that folded over would be quite nice. So what size is that? So that's about 2 inches. So if I cut that to 4, that will give me a nice square one. Scroll down there at the 2 inch. Be quite nice. That's not quite. It's not quite right. There we go. A little bit of cracking there at the top. That's okay. I think that'll look quite nice. It doesn't really need much more decorating that. It's got a nice image. I'll put a little bit of extra on the back, but that is one. Kind of want that. So let's have a see, how big is this left? We've got 7.5, so that's 3 3/4 is the halfway mark there. I think that'll work. Just fold that in half. Because of the collaging, it does make folding a bit difficult. When I did the original, I folded the paper first and I collaged separately on each side. That would be quite nice to go in that way, because that's like that. I think we'll do that. Back, it doesn't matter. So we'll do that way. And then this one's just ready to be decorated any way I want. Oh, so I might do that one coming in that way. I'll trim off a bit of these. So there we have it. My 3, I'm going to get my guillotine to cut these bits out. So that's going to be my 3 paper clips. So put them to one side. And then here we've got these 3 large images. So it's kind of lending itself to being journaling cards, I think. So I'm going to cut that one down there. I think that's a nice shape. It's quite a lot there at the top. I might fiddle with that. And we'll go there. Got a nice one there. And I think this one's quite big. So what I might do is get a little 2-inch tag out of it. Because there's quite enough there. And that's quite a nice tag. So I might turn these 2 into tags. And then we've got some journaling cards there for that one. I might cut a bit off the top. And then I've got a small tag there. Cut that off the top. I've got another small tag there. I think that'd be quite nice. So that's 3 paper clips, 2 large tags, 2 small tags, and 2 journaling cards. That's quite a lot out of a bit of A4. Liking that a lot. So I did that one 2 inches, so I can use my delightful tag topper punch on this, because that takes a 2-inch wide one, and I do like the end. I think it's quite a nice sort of vintage looking top there, so I like that. Chuck that. I don't know what size I've got with these, because I've got other punches that I could use to make a nice tag. So what have we got there? Read it the right way. So that's 7/8, that's not going to fit. That's 1.5, that's not going to fit. So my idea, oh, it might fit down here, because this will do different widths. So it's a little bit shorter, but I can make sure it's even. and have ourselves a little shorter tag top there. And this one is slightly shorter than the 1 inch, but we can probably still get a bit of a top on there. There, that's worked well. 3 different sizes of tags there. I might round the bottoms. So that one's much bigger, so I'll just do a little slanted top on that. I have my credit card that I like, so I'll use that to cut it down. Get rid of them, and then I'm going to use my corner rounder punch, which, oh, there it is. I was struggling to see it there. So I got this one. It's a trio punch. So it does cut. You can make a tag with this. It cuts a nice little centre hole as well in it. But I think these just rounded off will be perfect. And what I also think is nice is you can then put a little bit of a decorative thing in it. I quite like that. Sometimes it's nice to just have that in the opposites, as opposed to all 4 corners. And I don't think I have to do very much more with this. That's that, that's that, that's that. These need a bit of corner rounding. I want to use a smaller corner rounder because I think the big one's all right for this big one, but I think the little ones need a smaller corner rounder. Right, so that's that. So we need to finish these off. So they need, that's going that way. That's going that way. That's going to go that way. So we need a strip of paper. These are, I'm going to do it sort of just shy of what that depth is. So yeah, we're looking more or less at 2 inches, aren't we, for all of them? A little less than 2 inches. So we want 4, and we'll come in a bit. I've done it 3.5. I meant to do it to 3 3/4, but hey ho. Just fold that in half. I got more than I need, but when I did it before, I did do it a whole strip. So then those will just stick on the top. So yep, that works. That works for me. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stick the paper clip to this. So let's get out some paper clips. So got some silver ones here. Yep, they won't protrude down. Yep. That's a black one. Don't want to waste me black ones. I bought black ones for sometimes you want black. So That's going to go in there, and it's sort of in the middle bit. So I did it as a whole strip last time. So literally put the paper clips along here, and then the collage bit went over the top, and then I just cut them down. But this, I'm going to cut them down beforehand. Because that's easier. So that'll get stuck like that. Cool. And lots of different ways of doing an altered paper clip. I like this way. It was much quicker when I did it before. So I cut a strip, folded it in half, I collaged that side, then I turned it over and I collaged that side, so we didn't have that problem of when we folded over that it maybe crack. So there's like a gap there. And then folded my sheet, put the paper clips all the way along, folded it over, and then just cut along in between all the paper clips. And that worked well, rather than doing it individually like this. Okay, so that fit in there. So now what we need to do is stick that paper clip in place so it doesn't move. I just did it with glue on holiday because I didn't take any double-sided tape with me, but I'm going to do some double-sided tape now I'm home, and I can. So I'm going to put a couple of strips across. I will use glue as well. But I want this to stick down firmly. If I just show you on the one, and then I'll do the others either speeded up or off camera, because you don't want to be bored. So stick it all the way along. Some people use hot glue. I think as long as you just firmly place your paper clip in there, it'll work nicely. And then what happens is you just put it over a bit of a page like that, and it goes on and off. I'll show you on some of my finished pages. That's probably in one of my signatures. There we go, it's one of my signatures here. So that one's got, that was just there to hold it in place so I could see it. So that is the perfect place to put an altered paper clip. So that holds that in place, and it's pretty. Another way is to have a different page, so I could pop it around that. So the page is plain. There we go. It's got a thing on the other end, but if I was to put the paper clip on there, imagine that wasn't there, and then you can get a tag and it will hold the tag in place quite nicely, and it would hold one on the other side, so you could hold a journaling card in there. So it's just a nice way of holding something in your journal. Some of them go on the top. Bit of page decoration, and also really handy as a tuck spot. So that's how they're going to get used. Oh. Now I've no idea how that's going. I think that's the centre bit. Oh dearie me. Some bits I haven't stuck down, so I don't know if that's the pages I want them to go on, and I'm going to add a couple of extra pages because I ain't got enough. So that's that explained. So where's the one I was sticking? Have I now lost it? Yeah, I found it. I've managed to put it away where the put it away in the whole sort of folder with all my Edith Holden. So just going to take off these bits. Going to do one side at a time. So that's them all done, and then I'm going to get a bit of Tombow glue. And I'm going to go, because this is really strong glue. And this is a little bit smaller than this. I'm just going to put a little bit along the top crease. So because it's smaller, I'm putting the glue on this. So feed it in there and then close down. So that's why you cut it smaller, because you don't want to see it. So that'll be that. Glue down there nicely. Get a bit of baby wipe. It's a dry baby wipe. We don't want any oozing out the edges because we don't want to stick these two flaps together. So now we're going to take this off and apply glue to this. So glue the other side down. I might have put a little bit too much on there, but I think it will be fine. The important thing is that we don't want it to ooze, so that it sticks together. Let's put something down in between there so it won't stick in between. So that is now ready to decorate. So I think I was going to do it going in that way on the side of a page. So whilst I was looking for that, I remembered I got some clusters that I made in a previous challenge, and a snippet roll, so an Edith Holden themed snippet roll, and that's where these are sort of ideal, because you've got little bits already that you could just snip off and use as decoration, or even a cluster. I think the clusters are a little bit too big for this. Well, that one's quite nice. That one might work. And then it's ready made, and it doesn't take very long to do. So I might just snip a bit of a snippet roll off here. Might take that bit there. So I'm gonna use my pinking shears actually, because I've done a bit here with fabric. So let's just go the other side of that button. And that's that bit done. So, and that's what's good about making a snippet roll, is that you can then use something really quickly to decorate. So I'm gonna just glue that in place. So a bit more Tombow. Or I might just ink around the edges actually. So I do like soft suede, I've said that before, for my Edith Holden stuff, because it's a beautiful match for the ink in the writing. There we go. And I've did some plain stitching there. What I might do is get that lovely stamp set that I was telling you about and stamp some stitching. So get that one. And I might get early espresso for that. So it really does look like it's been stitched. But it's just a stamp. So much quicker getting my sewing machine out. It's gonna go on there. Where's my glue? I have done a video on how I made my snippet rolls as well, so you can check that out. I'm going to add a word to it, but we need to do the other side as well. So that one's quite nice there. So because I put some fabric up the middle, they can't be ripped. If you don't put fabric, you could rip it. Need a bit of stitching. So I'm going to go around the edges. So that going like that, that's quite a nice little effect there. And chompers will go through anything. So it's like 4 layers there. Might go on the corner as well. Yeah, I think that was worth doing. That'll go over a page quite nicely. Right, so I think I'm going to add some words. Now I could take a bit of Edith Holden. If I get some little descriptions from my little scrap pot. So let's have a look in these scraps. So like I've got there. Just so happens that I've got bramble and leaves, so I could just take that off and use that. And we'll get them on. Might use my little Tombow for this. It's a bit fine. Just finishing it off. So that's that one done. So I'm going to get the other ones finished and show you how they turned out. So that's them finished. I can't remember now which one I did on camera. So I finished them up there, and got some different words. Got a little butterfly, that's from my snippet roll. These ones that already had some nice napkin. Losing my words. I left them like that, so I quite like that. And then after seeing that and liking the way they looked, these ones that I made before, I went round them. I tried these with just 2 sides, and I quite like it, whether I do it 2 sides or 4 sides. And I added some words on the back there because they didn't have words before, so managed to finish them off. And then I've done one of the big tags, one of the little tags, and one of the journaling cards. I thought I'd get them done, and then I'll just show you how I put the others together. So I don't know if you can see there that looks quite sort of worn. I rubbed over the napkin with a sanding block to sort of get that effect. Quite liked the way it turned out. I've stamped my faux stitching around and just did a little cluster there with a word, and then I just put the stitching on the back. So that's that one done. And basically the same here. I didn't sand that one, and so yeah, just did one little word. I felt that was enough of a decoration on that one, didn't need any more. And then I just put an eyelet in and some seam binding, and then that one's got a tiny bit of the snippet roll there. Not really room for much else, so I'll just show you what I did. So it is quite rough when you do sort of a paper napkin, so you can sand it down. So I've got a sanding block, and you can just go over it a bit just to sort of smooth it out, and it does take off a little bit, but I think that adds to the vintage worn out sort of feel. So quite like the way that feeling now. And then I just took my blending brush and went over it again, so you picks up some of the bits. Get some more ink that you've taken off a little bit. So it just gives you some extra little lines in there. So liking that. So it doesn't really need anything else. And then throws my brush at myself, and then I took my stitching. I normally clean as I go, but as it's sort of like being in constant use, I didn't bother. So just a bit of stitching down the side. I was going to stitch this for real, just to make sure it was stuck down. There we go. Loving how that's sort of turning out. And I love the way this tea dyed, because that does look really, really old. There we go. So I'm not going to do anything else. I was going to, sometimes I stamp little things on the back with some of my floral stamps, or a bit of the dots, but I don't think it needs it. It's got its own from the dyeing process, so I don't need to add anything else to that. And whilst I've got the stamp and the ink out, I'm going to go around this. So then we've got these, I think these to stick on. So there was that from the snippet roll. Stick it on there, and then just a little word. So all the, and these clusters just made up with a bit of doily, a bit of tea stained cheesecloth, and then one of my words that I make myself. So I'll just get those stuck down. So that's that one done, and these two just need the tops doing. So I have some sticky hole reinforcers here, and I colour, they're white, so I just colour them with ink. So they're all done in different colours. So I've got me, I'm going to do these in soft suede so they match what I have been doing. So I just get a bit of soft suede ink and just literally colour them over. So we want one for the front and one for the back. I do have a die actually for cutting these out as well, but this is a quite quick, easy way of doing it, and you can colour them in whatever colour you want. So I've got different inks there that I've used depending on what I'm making, and you get a gazillion, well 250 for not very much money. I don't think I've got the price on there, so they do work well. So on this one I'm just gonna stick one on the front and one on the back, like so. But for this one, what I like to do is, this is a bit of the Edith Holden paper. I like to cut it 1.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch. So when I fold it in half, it's a 3/4 inch square. And I just inked round the edges. And so I'm just going to stick that to the top as a nice tab. And then I'm going to use my crocodile for the hole. And then I'll stick the reinforcer on. So just stick that on there. Sure there's no oozing. So then I get my crocodile. So I'm going to use the biggest hole, and I have it set to 3/8 of an inch, so that takes it down to the exact middle, and I eyeball it. So that's a way of getting it right in the middle of me 3/4 inch square. And then we're gonna stick one of these on. I don't often, sometimes I don't bother with the hole reinforcer when I've done these squares, but I thought I would in this instance. So there we have that. So then we need the eyelets. So 2 eyelets here. You don't have to use an eyelet, but as I have on one of these, it's just really easy to do. I've got a big bite as well, which I treated myself last year for my birthday. I've had this one years and years. So there's that, and then we just need a bit of seam binding. There we go. I picked this up in charity shop. So I had another couple of rolls of it, but I gave them to my niece who was up visiting. We sort of split it. So just have a bit of that. Fold it in half. Feed it from the back. Is my preference. And then it's a good colour, I think, for my Edith Holden journal. And I'll just pull it tight, and then just did that rubbish. Just shape them like that. So then I'm gonna just use the blending brush on top of this a bit to make it look a bit old and faded. I wanted to do it after it was added so that it's just the bits, so as if it had been folded there for a long time, so like the dust would only get on the outside and it would be cleaner on the inside. That was the look I was going for. So that's it. Hope you've enjoyed that. I love doing masterboards. You just can get some amazing results. And look at that, from one sheet of A4. I think I'm in shot still. Yeah, I am. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I'll be back next Wednesday with another junk journaling video, probably the altered cards, and then we'll do the cover, and then I can do a flip through. All right, see you all again soon.